I'd love you to welcome to the stage, please, Diana Strauss, who is Director of Customer Journey at Marabu Airlines. So Diana, welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. There's a clicker there. Yeah,
Hello, everybody. So my name is Diana, and as Marabu Airlines is probably not saying much to a lot of people of you, just a few words about who we are. So first of all, we're from Estonia, so in a very far up north of Europe, across from Finland. That's where you find us in Estonia and Tallinn. Our vision is connecting Europeans with their holiday destinations, and therefore our slogan towards our customers is "For more moments by the sea." Because mostly we're operating from the German market in the leisure area around the Mediterranean coast along the water. We try to do that in a very Estonian digital mindset with German aviation knowledge. So our big sister is Condor. And as we call ourselves the new kid on the block, we also try to do it the Estonian style, digital, cool, and innovative. So we started 2 years ago, and I will be brutally honest with you, it was not good. It went from chaos to hell. Our NPS was at -18, and you could see all the headlines. So they just got us. Every week you could find another headline about how our operations sucked. It was bad, because when I joined the airline, the pure focus was on getting an AOC, so the safety, the compliance, the regulations. But none of these say really what is the customer experience if something goes wrong, or even what was the product like. So that was all lacking, and here you can see it. It was bad. So we had to start somewhere. So firstly, we started with getting the basics right. What do I mean with that? First and foremost, it's the on-time performance, right? In the first year, it was super bad. So we had to work our way up to get a proper on-time performance and to get the 3-hour delays down. And if you start in 2023, I can tell you, the customers wrote us, how can you be an airline without an online check-in? This is 2023, right? And I can't blame them. So we really had to hurry up and also start with an online check-in really quickly. And over time, we have developed it further and further to digitize. But why is this so relevant? There is the book, The Umami Strategy, which I can recommend to all of you. And in there, you can see this graph on the top about the customer. They have an expectation about your product, and hopefully it will be a desired outcome, an experience, mostly adequate. So if you deliver that, you will be in a zone of tolerance of the customer. However, if you're above or below it, then there's a chemical reaction in the brain that will trigger a memory, either a pleasant one, and they will like it in the memory, or a stressful one. And as you can see, in 2023, we caused a lot of stress to our customers. So we were on the very left side because we had no reliability, no functionality. It was just not there. So that's why on-time performance is the basic, and we had to get it right. And I know a lot of our COOs and operations people are walking around and say, yeah, 80%, 85%, that's the way to go. It's not. We need to strive for 100%. Especially maybe the gentlemen in here, if you go to a hairdresser, you know exactly how many millimeters the side should be, and you don't want a millimeter more or less. So you want the exact product, and this is what our customers want, 100% on-time performance. So once we managed the basics, we went to understanding the expectations. So in the beginning, we had these little boxes in our business class, and we're not the only carrier in business class in Europe to offer them. However, our customers did not like it, because operating in the German market, being the sister of Condor, they had a completely different expectation. The product wasn't bad, but they wanted a service in porcelain, in warm, so we had to work towards that. So we installed ovens, we bought the porcelain, we tested food, we went from cold porcelain food to now hot to deliver what they expected. Additionally, as you could see from our vision, we're striving to be a European leisure carrier. So our cabin crew is fully international, speaking every language, not necessarily German. But I can tell you, Germans love their German. So they expected to be spoken to in German. So what did we do? We made announcements, recordings from our crew in English, Spanish, and German to have that on board. And we started hiring more German cabin crew, so at least 1 or 2 on board speak German. Now what happened? We went now into the zone of tolerance, and with that, we are kind of in the average with everybody else because we deliver what everybody else does. But if you're just the average, nobody remembers you. Then you are just in transactional relationship to your customers, and in the end, all our revenue managers are right by saying they just look for the cheapest price and then they will change to another airline. But this is not what we in customer experience want. We want a customer to love our brand, to remember our brand, and to come back. So we had to go the next step and make it special. So here you can see already some photos of our cabin. And in the very corner here, you can see a sneak peek with AI generated how we will reform our cabin again over this winter so that by next summer, the cabin will look like this. We have cooperated with a partner to have a little brand message on our carpet. We designed branding on our mirrors, which you usually don't expect in a lavatory in an aircraft. And we are the very first airline who designed a female hygiene dispenser to be on board for all female and customers who need to use free products, to have it right there with zero barrier to ask anybody if you need this. So from that, we went out of the zone of tolerance to the right side and starting to create memories that the customer will remember afterwards. But what else did we do? You might remember we're from Estonia. So in Estonia, hello, we say tere. And not many people know that. So if you need a secret language, I highly recommend you Estonian because just a little bit over 1 million people speak that worldwide. So good to start there. So we incorporate that into our whole customer journey. From the homepage, from on board, we even have our own Estonian brewed lager on board, which sells better than the German Becks. And if something goes wrong, we also apologize in Estonian, just to have that little bit of extra to tell to the customer to make it special, because that's not what you would expect. But then the hospitality on board. We are still in a service and a people business. So our cabin crew from the beginning has really done a stellar job and are making the life of the customer on board really comfortable. Additionally, we also do not serve business class, for example, on a tray. We have a restaurant-style service, which you can see on the photo. So you're being served one meal at a time. You get the dessert afterwards. So really having a pleasant experience. And our pilots, they truly make a difference as well. Everybody thinks like they're behind doors, nobody can see them. But they do lots of announcements to say, now on the right side you see the Eiffel Tower, on the left side you see the Alps. The customers really appreciate that insight. And if on the ground there is some time, often they invite our little customers, the little guests, to the cockpit and create a memory for a lifetime for them. But now you're wondering how we do that. How do we make this special? How do we break down the silos? So our COO had the right view, and really we created one team that we report to our COO, which is the natural steps of the customer journey. So starting from the inspiration, be it the homepage, be it social media, it's in our digital team inside one team. We have the airport experience, so the ground operations, including the post holder, is in our team. The in-flight experience, the entire cabin crew body, the entire catering, cabin, everything is in our team, as well as care afterwards or throughout. If something goes wrong, we have the irregularity as well. Plus, to not only be in the operations, but to always look ahead, we have a special customer journey development team that has the strategic projects. With that, we really try to aim the 360-degree of the customer to make sure that wherever the customer goes, there is a smooth journey. But the team and how the structure is not alone special. I was working before in some airlines where I met colleagues who have been in the same department for 40 years. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's not what I want. Because they did not understand what left and right is doing. So we have a lot of people with no aviation background. Our head of catering and in-flight comes from the hotel industry. She does know hospitality. She doesn't need to know necessarily aviation. We have that knowledge already. Our digital media expert doesn't need to know aviation. So we really try to have a variation there. And because we're a young airline, we have very young teams. So in our office, the average is 34 years. And with all the legacy carriers, I think you can imagine that the age is much higher and they have seen the same things over and over. One true difference, I believe, is also that we have the trust from our board. I don't know how many of you could have gone to your board and said, hey boss, we want to include free female hygiene products in our lavatories, especially talking to mostly male boards. Not so sure, but our board gave us the go-ahead, and it worked out. But as well, as we are quite small, we don't have a huge team. We need to look for the right partners. So we have really external partners throughout the journey, which have the same mindset. They're innovative, they're flexible, they have great ideas, and there is a partnership, not just a company basics for that. But most and important, everything I have shown you right now has come from reading the free text of the survey of our customers. I know also earlier we were talking a lot about an NPS score, a customer satisfaction score. And we do look at that as well, but this is just guiding us if we're going in the right direction. Are we going up? Are we going down? But in order to know what we really need to work on, we need to read the free text. So customers were telling us, no online check-in, you need that. No cold food. Now you need to have a better seat. This is what we prioritize it. So I can highly recommend you read the free text of the customers. They will tell you what to work on. And with this, we went from chaos in 2023 to love in 2025. So right now, our NPS is at 30 overall through all irregularities. From -19 we started in 2 years. So all of that we have achieved in 2 years' time, and you can see some of the headlines or the customer feedback. And of course, it's much more difficult to get a positive headline than a negative one. So that's why we're happy about every single one of them, what we have achieved over 2 years. As we say in Estonian, aite, thank you very much.